was like, oh my goodness, this dude talking about Super Bowl. And I'm gonna tell you though, there's a method to the madness, okay? But we're gonna talk about it. It's a method to the madness. It's definitely a method to the madness. And I do feel like it's about time, you know, and that's what I've been saying on Twitter. That's what I've been saying to anybody who would listen to me, that it's about time, right? It's been a long time. It's been, when was that, 2003, 2004, last time we made a Super Bowl appearance. It's about time. You see what I'm saying? It's about time. And, you know, and on that premise alone, you know, that ought to give you the excitement that you need to know that this, you know, we say this for the last 3 years. We say this is our year. This is our year, Carolina Panthers. This is our year. But you know what though? For real, this is our year. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you why I feel like that. We'll break it down a little bit, and we're gonna get into the actual factual of why I'm running around here talking about Carolina Panthers going to the Super Bowl. We're gonna talk about that, right? Because look, I have it in my heart. It's a thing that I feel, and I've been feeling this since the end of last season, right? And actually, the feeling started about 3 years ago, right? It started about 3 years ago, and you know, ever since then, we've seen things like we've seen the Carolina Panthers put up, you know, ridiculous seasons, and then, you know, finally we got a chance to see them make the playoffs for the first time in like 5 years, and then we got an opportunity last season to see them actually win the playoff game for the first time in a long time. And you know what? It's only right that we go ahead and make the next step. And you know what? There's a lot of other variables and other things going on in there too, which I'm going to get to. We're going to talk about all of that. But I want to welcome everybody to the Black and Blue Podcast. I be your boy Bigg Q. I represent TeamBoydTV. You know what I'm saying? So listen, everybody who came out last week for my little season premiere, you know what I mean? I appreciate it, man. Look, y'all guys show me all type of love, man, and I definitely appreciate it. Like, you know, when I started doing the Black and Blue Podcast last season, man, I really didn't think it was something that I wanted to do until the season started. And then, you know, it grew and it became something different and took a little bit of life of its own. And then I realized that the Panther Nation, man, look, y'all so deep and y'all so, like, the community is so huge and everybody is super excited and all that kind of stuff. You know, I was like, you know, I got to keep doing this. You know what I mean? I got to keep doing this. And look, it's some shout outs in order, right? Look, what was it last week? Last week was the first episode for this season. And in the very first episode, man, I had just opened up the brand new Patreon situation that I got going on Patreon. And if y'all guys don't know what Patreon is, man, it's like a little crowdfunding tip jar type situation, sort of like what we got here on YouTube. Because if you guys look in, and I said right hand corner last week, but it's really I said left hand corner, but it's really the right hand corner. The right hand corner of the screen is a little circle up there with a little eye in it. If you click it, you know, it cycles through a bunch of different things. And two of the things that it cycle through is one of them is the Patreon, and the Patreon is basically like, you know, we at TeamBoydTV, we kind of set like little goals and stuff. You guys help us out through that. You guys can donate a little bit. You guys can donate a lot. Whatever suits your fancy, right? So I got this little thing I set up right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Oh, it's on this side right there. That little thing is called the Hardest Pounders, right? From just last week alone, right? We had people just kind of show the Black and Blue Podcast all type of love through the Patreon, man. I definitely want to give a shout out to Miss Mega Goddess. She dropped a cool $100 on the Black and Blue Podcast. And I got to tell you, that right there, like, I wasn't expecting nothing like that, and I definitely appreciate it, and that kind of thing. So, Mega Goddess, look, I don't know what I could do. You know what I can do? I'm gonna get you a spreadshirt certificate for any TeamBoydTV t-shirt you want that's on the website. I'm gonna hook you up because you know what, $100, that's a lot to drop on a podcaster. You know what I mean? And there's a couple other people, Damien and, you know, Proud Squad and all these other people who dropped a little bit, man. And I definitely appreciate it. You know, and this all ties into the theme of the show this week, right? Because, you know, I'm talking about the Super Bowl, and, you know, before we get started with that, I wanna make sure that I'm real clear about some stuff. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm super clear. Now, I'm not talking about Carolina Panthers going 16-0 and then running roughshod in the playoffs, and then, you know, beating the brakes off whoever it is in the Super Bowl and winning the thing. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what. Let's be real clear about that. Look, nowhere did I type or tweet or post anything about Carolina Panthers winning the Super Bowl. What I'm saying is based on, and I've poured over the schedule. I've looked at the NFL schedule. I looked at our schedule. I looked at everybody's schedule, and I looked at everything. And it just points to the fact that, Carolina is primed to be one of those teams, okay? One of those teams that should be a favorite to make it to the Super Bowl in Santa Clara, California in 2016. So listen, that's what I'm saying. I don't want nobody blowing up the comment section talking about, Q, all delusional and whatnot. And there's a couple other things going on, like there's still tomorrow night, right? There's still tomorrow night, which that's a big variable, right? And we're going to talk about a little bit more about it because I talked about it a little bit last week. And we're going to talk a little bit more about it tonight. But tomorrow night is big. Tomorrow night can shape the future for the good or for the bad of any franchise, right? These rookies coming in, they definitely make some type of impact. Some of them negative, some of them really, really positive, right? So, we still got that. We have the draft, which that's gonna shape and mold and point the way, and that'll let us know a little bit about where we may be headed, right? And when I say we, I'm talking about all of us as football fans, right? And then, of course, there's still the regular season, right? And anything can happen in the regular season. People can get hurt. People can just have bad luck and just have a bad string of games. Anything can happen during the course of the regular season. So there was two huge, ginormous variables can throw a monkey wrench in this whole entire thing. Now, am I saying, Carolina is impervious to all that crap? I'm not. I'm saying that, from what I've seen, I'm checking out the schedule, and looking at everything else, it just looked like Carolina should be one of the favorites. And there's a couple teams that I think are favorites in the NFC, and I think there's two or three that I think are favorites in the AFC. But when I break it all down, when I look at it, I came up with the Carolina Panthers versus the Indianapolis Colts, right? That's just what I came up with. Now, I can show y'all my math, if y'all want me to, I can do that. But for the most part, to put it on the nutshell, that's kind of what it looks like, right? Indianapolis is another team, just like Carolina, that it is just about time, with the things that they've done and looking at their schedule and their opponents and the stretch of games that they got, especially toward the end, the back half of the season. If everything goes Indianapolis' way, they can find themselves in the Super Bowl, right? Just like Carolina, right? And, with the things that they've been building over the last 2, 3 seasons, 4 seasons, or whatever the case may be, we're getting to a point where now, all that talk and all that hype, and all that, we should do this and we could possibly do that. All that stuff is over. You know what I mean? We're at a point right now where it's time for Carolina to show somebody something. You know what I mean? It is time. We've seen little flashes, little hints, little gateway, a little peek into what Carolina Panthers could possibly be. Now, gone are the days of, general managers making crazy decisions, drafting weird people. I remember, first round draft pick being, completely squandered on one Tishmango Biaka Patuka. Those days are over, right? I think we have the right coach who's had the right amount of experience as a head coach, leading into the season, and the right amount of situations that happen to him to season him, to give him the experience that he needs to be able to make the right calls and know his team and know his personnel and have his finger on the pulse of the game. I really believe Ron Rivera is our guy. He is the guy that is going to take us back to the promised land. Now, given John Fox his due, right? He got us there the first time, and we can't be sitting here talking the way we're talking right now if we haven't been at least once. So we got there, and John Fox was one of them coaches who had everything was lining up just like that for him. The right amount of time as a head coach, the right amount of trials and tribulations. Because under John Fox, all kind of stuff went down. We had bust first round draft picks. We had convicts and murderers and weird stuff go down during his tenure here too. And, and sometimes you got to go through something to find out who you really, really, really are. And I think, last year, man, they kind of piled it on us. The football gods, they piled it on Carolina, right? It was, and I don't want to go through it all again, but everybody who was a Carolina Panthers fan, y'all know what I'm talking about. If you think about, something bad that could have possibly happened, it happened to Carolina Panthers, right? And so, while most people was sitting there being all sad and being a little frustrated about what was going on, I was watching the team adapt and grow and gel and just mature. And, and what I see right now, with the group that's currently on the roster, not talking about Not talking about the group that's getting ready to come in, right? Not talking about those guys, right? Because, I'm big about, bringing rookies in and thrusting them into the roles like right off the bat. It's kind of tough for me. I feel like they maybe need to learn a little bit more, but then sometimes they bring enough skill and talent to the table where you were like, yo, why am I letting this man sit on the bench when he could possibly be being real productive for our team? So let's let him play. Now there's situations like that, unfortunately for Cam Newton, he didn't get that reprieve, and actually, the whole thing with Cam Newton coming into the NFL was crazy because not only did he not get a chance to sit behind a great future Hall of Fame, multi Super Bowl winning quarterback and learn the tricks of the trade. When he came into the league, there was no training camp, there was no team activities. Like the NFL was on lockout mode, you know what I mean? And so he was behind the eight ball right off the bat. And seeing where he came from that to where he is now, and I'm gonna tell you, and I know it might be some people in here who may or may not be Panthers fans, and I'm saying thank you guys for checking us out. But I'm gonna tell you, if you think you've seen the best of Cam Newton, you haven't. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you, you ain't seen it. We haven't seen nowhere near the greatness that this man can possibly achieve. It's just, he came into the league, came to, one of the worst teams in the NFL at the time, had absolutely nothing positive to walk into except, a rabid fan base who believed in him, right? And that's the only thing he had going for him. And slowly, year after year after year, they're building a really, really nice squad around this man, And while we're talking about Cam Newton, we got to make mention of the little statement that he made, was it yesterday or the day before? He's committed. He is committed to playing here in Charlotte and leading this team to where we need to go. Now, I had already had my mind made up about what I was going to do for the podcast this week. I had already had my mind made up about it. And I said, you know what? I've been feeling this way for a little bit. And, I didn't want to get attacked by the people on Twitter and by the people on Google Plus and stuff, talking Super Bowl talk in, at the end of April. You know what I mean? Like, you don't talk like that, in April. You know what I'm saying? So I had already had my mind made up that what I wanted to do. And then I read this about Cam Newton, and that just pretty much further solidifies everything that I'm feeling. You know what I mean? So whatever I'm feeling, I'm pretty sure some of you guys are feeling it too. Obviously, Mr. Cam Newton is feeling it as well. We got the young guys like Kelvin Benjamin and Luke Kuechly. These guys, they feel it too. There's something special brewing here. And I know a lot of people, especially people from rival fan bases and stuff, they refuse to believe it. And they want to continue to think of Carolina as an underdog team, as a an expansion team or a new team or a team that's synonymous with losing, all the time. But I'm telling you, like, you got to get your mind right. That stuff is over. If you ain't paid attention in the last couple of seasons, those days are over. Carolina is, look, you ain't going to attach the word loser or losing seasons to Carolina no more. You know what I mean? It just ain't happening no more. And I think these guys are proving that they are winners, man. People see Carolina on their schedule, and you know what? It's a serious game plan going down when they see that. Oh my God, we got Carolina this week. Oh, and I don't care where you play us at, right? Because I think we're awesome at home, right? Not so much last season, but I think we're pretty good at home. But man, get us on the road though. You know what I'm saying? Get us in your house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, you have the game plan for this team. Now, you can't just be looking at them thinking that we the Washington Redskins or we the Jacksonville Jaguars or we the Tennessee Titans. No. No. You can't look at Carolina and think that no more. And I'm saying, I know a lot of people, they don't want to think of it that way. They refuse to let go of the old traditions, and they like, you know what? My team has been around forever. We got XYZ amount of championships. This team ain't got no championships. I'm going to continue to treat them like that. But that is great, and I appreciate it, and I'm glad you feel that way, because I'm telling you, a lot of people going to get their feelings hurt this season. A lot of people going to have to eat a whole bunch of crow. A lot of people going to have a bad taste in their mouth when they think about the Carolina Panthers, because I'm telling you, it's going down. And I want everybody to, do what you do. I know a lot of people, they like to download people's videos and clip them up and stuff and, screenshot. Do that. You know what I'm saying? Because when we come back here, in January, February sometime, we'll see who was right. You know what I'm saying? We'll see who was right. You know what I'm saying? So listen, that was really what I wanted to talk about when I was talking about, Carolina and the Super Bowl, and, how a lot of people were thinking, that I was crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, dude, you got to think about it. Go pull your schedules out. Do it right now. Look at the full NFL schedule, and you look at it, and I'm going to tell you, it ain't really that many powerhouse NFC teams no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing that a lot of people don't understand is that the playing field has been leveled. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody got a shot now. You know what I'm saying? Like, gone are the days where you got, all these superstars on one team, or you got, the baddest running back in the world, plus, the dopest, quarterback on the planet on the same team. It ain't like that no more. We seeing stuff like Philadelphia Eagles, who I thought, I would have had them in this conversation too, until the season was over and they started trading away all the good players. They're trading away all their weapons. I don't know what they're planning on doing. So, we can take Philadelphia out of the equation. I respect everything that Dallas did last year, right? I thought, it was amazing. I really thought that somebody in Dallas finally got it right, finally understood what was going on. But apparently we was wrong about that too, because they felt like, oh, no, we don't need the best running back in the league right now. We don't need that. We're gonna rely on the same old injury prone, bodies wearing out on him, mistake making quarterback that we've continually paying all this money to. They snap right back into their old selves. So we can take Dallas out of that equation, right? And then there's people like the Green Bay Packers, right? Who I would have put in this conversation as well, except for I saw some things last year toward the end that made me change my mind. Aaron Rodgers, one of the baddest quarterbacks in the world. He's getting a little old, man. His body is breaking down on him. He showed a little chink in his armor. His weapons are slowly dissipating. He still got some really good dudes on his team. Eddie Lacy is still a monster. You still got Randall Cobb, who we tried to get here. So look, he still got some things. Green Bay could make some noise. It's just the quarterback is what I'm worried about, right? I'm worried about. So let's take Green Bay out of the equation. You feel what I'm saying? Then you got the San Francisco 49ers, right? Who I would have had in this conversation too. Just a little while ago, these guys were playing in the Super Bowl and were that close to winning it, right? And then the bottom fell out, right? The quarterback play, and I mean, everybody was flipping out on Colin Kaepernick, and I had been saying things about Colin Kaepernick all along that nobody wanted to listen to, but now when it was shown on the big stage, you start putting this dude on all these big games and stuff, and you see what happens, right? They dealt away one of their primary weapons, in Frank Gore. He's gone, he's out of there. Now we got to rely solely on Colin Kaepernick and in his receivers that he had, which I wouldn't consider any of them top tier, right? I wouldn't, you know what I mean? So let's take San Francisco out of the equation. Y'all see the pattern that I'm developing here. So this is what I was doing when I came up with this, right? This is what I was doing. So then I was looking at some other teams that may make some noise. You got Seattle. Seattle is a raw dog team. I ain't gonna take nothing from them. Seattle is a team that's gonna be a contender, no doubt about it. So they in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Seattle is in the conversation. Look, I would be crazy. I would be a fool to take Seattle out of the conversation. Seattle's still around. So you got Seattle. I'm trying to think anybody else in the NFC that's doing big things. I mean, the New York Giants, they got a really exciting, situation going on with their wide receivers. Again, their quarterback is in his 10th, 11th, 12th year, somewhere like that. His performance has been lackluster over the last 2 seasons. They've been threatening to fire their coach a gajillion times. I just don't feel like New York, the Giants, are that big of a threat either. I'm going to take them out of the equation. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to take them out of the equation. And then you got your Detroit Lions, who I pretty much exposed them last season. I told everybody what to expect from the Detroit Lions, and everybody laughed at me, right? I told y'all what was going to happen, right? And I like Detroit, and I like what they're doing in Detroit, but no, they're not in this conversation, right? This is going to come down to Carolina, Seattle. I would say New Orleans would probably put up a little bit of a fight. Okay, so Cubone, what is up, Cubone? What's happening, bro? He says, I just looked at the Panthers schedule, and after skimming through it, I think it's very possible for the Panthers to make the playoffs. Yeah, Definitely, right? That's only like if everything go the way it's supposed to go. But there's always things that could happen here and there. We talked about that earlier. There's always variables, especially when we're talking about sports, right? But yeah, look, it's gonna come down to like 4 teams. You know what I mean? And that's about all I can really think of is Seattle, Carolina, maybe New Orleans, maybe. But again, Drew Brees, they already thinking about drafting his successor right now as we speak. They in the war room right now trying to figure out who they can pull out of this draft to replace Drew Brees. Right? They dealt away one of their primary targets in Jimmy Graham. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all probably thinking like this dude has done lost his mind. This is what I was looking at. You know what I mean? And then when you look at the AFC side of things, right? Even though I think that the New England Patriots had an awesome year last season, despite the rocky, bumpy start that they had, they pulled it out. They came together at the right time, played the right kind of football at the right time. They got it done. I'm not mad at them, right? I just don't feel like they can do it again. You know what I mean? I don't, we on Tom Brady's farewell tour. And speaking of farewell tours, right? The Denver Broncos, who everybody seemed to keep on talking about, right? The Denver Broncos are falling apart at the seams, and people ain't really seem to be paying that no mind. And of course, their quarterback, I'm a Peyton Manning fan, but sometimes, I thought maybe last year or the year before the Super Bowl year he should have walked away then. I can't do Denver. Denver ain't working for me. New England is not working for me. The Jets ain't working for me. The Ravens, maybe. The Ravens are doing some really nice things, except for the fact that, just like Carolina did last year, they walked away all their wide receivers, except the one that we walked away last year, right? The running back situation, I thought Jonathan Forsett did a real good job filling in or trying to replace or filling the shoes of Ray Rice. I thought he did an awesome job, but at the same time, he's no Ray Rice, and I don't know if we can still put him as a top 5 running back. Can we put Justin Forsett? Can we put him as a top 5 running back? I don't think we can, right? I don't think we can. Cincinnati, Cincinnati's window, I believe, is closed. Last season was their last season. They should have got it done 2 years ago. They failed, and I believe that the window is completely shut on the Cincinnati Bengals. So that leaves the Colts, right? That leaves the Colts and not the Steelers. No, you know what I mean? Not the Dolphins. No, even though I like what they're doing in Miami. Now, you know what? I'm gonna scratch that. Let's put Miami back in the mix. Okay, let's put Miami back in the mix because I like what they're doing in Miami. I just don't 100% believe in their quarterback, but I like what they're doing. They could make some noise. Let me pump my brakes a little bit. Let me pump my brakes a little bit. But yeah, but the Colts though, I looked at their schedule, and it looked like if they can keep it together, if they can stay healthy, if they can bring in the right type of fresh blood to help out on defense and a little bit on the offensive line. I mean, they got a running back situation they need to take care of, right? But I think, if they can figure it, no, they don't. They got Frank Gore. Yes, they do, right? So I'm just saying, Indianapolis feels right to me. You know what I'm saying? Indianapolis feels good to me. I when I look at everything, at the grand scheme of everything, it just comes down to Carolina versus Indianapolis. And I'm telling you guys, y'all can check my math. Y'all can go back and look at it for yourself. And you can do what you want to do. I'm telling you, that's what it is, right? I'm just saying. You know what? And I'm saying, like, I could be wrong. This is just something that I was feeling when I was just happened to be looking at the schedule and happened to be looking through it. I was like, hey, look at this. And these things just started adding up. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like that is amazing. Now, unless, somebody want to kind of, dispute what I was just saying and we want to get into a little debate real quick, I'm going to get into my first social media break. Then I want to flip it back to the Panthers, right? And I want to look at what we may or may not be dealing with tomorrow night for the draft. So, I gotta work tomorrow night. You know what I'm saying? I think I get out there around 9 something. So I'm thinking I might make it home just in time to see who the 25th overall pick may be. But what we're going to do, we're going to go right here into our social media break real quick. And then when we come back, we'll look at the draft prospects and we'll take a look at that and see what's going on.
Hey, sports fans. This is Get With It Sports, here to announce a new project that's in the making. A bunch of up-and-coming and popular sports video makers here on YouTube decided to get together and take sports talk to another level. The name of this group, Prime Sports Talk Coalition. This group consists of Get With It Sports, TeamBoydTV, Wake Up is Football, idiot sports talk, and three-point conversion. Expect great conversations on current sports topics and the type of debates you're looking for. No holds barred with a friendly banter. So stay tuned to these channels to see Prime Sports Talk Coalition in full effect. Check us out and enjoy. Peace.
Get social with TeamBoydTV, like our Facebook page, and join us every Sunday during the regular season for the TeamBoydTV Facebook halftime show. You can also follow us on Twitter at TeamBoydTV and at VernieB73. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at TeamBoydTV Turbo for all of our live shows, podcasts, among other things. Be sure to check out our Google Plus page for real-time status update and overall community discussion. TeamBoydTV is also on Instagram, Spreaker, and iTunes. Once again, thank you for watching TeamBoydTV. All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the Black and Blue podcast. I am your big homie, Bigg Q, representing TeamBoydTV. Listen, Q-Bone asked me what I thought about the Cardinals or Rams. Look, the Rams got Nick Foles now, right? Am I right? Yeah. So they got Nick Foles, which I thought that was a mistake on Philadelphia's part because Chip Kelly must have forgot the Nick Foles that he had the previous year. You know, I talked about this last week on the Black and Blue podcast that I think he jumped the gun a little bit with that one. Now, Nick Foles got a point to prove. You know, got a little chip on his shoulder. You know what I mean? I don't know. The Rams, maybe. It's just they need some weapons, man. We need some weapons. Their defense and special teams are really good. And, you know, I like watching them play defense and watching them on special teams. But I just don't really see a whole lot offensively going down with the St. Louis Rams. The Cardinals, on the other hand, I thought they ran into bad luck last season. You know, and I don't know why I left them out of the initial conversation because they need to be in the conversation. Everybody said all this stuff about their quarterback, and then he ultimately ended up getting injured and didn't get to finish the season. But the things that he did when he was playing, they had like the best record in football for a long time, and you know they seem pretty much unbeatable. They have weapons, a lot of them, and their special teams is ridiculous. Their defense is crazy. Yeah. Arizona definitely in the mix. You know what I mean? And you know, hopefully we won't have to worry about Arizona until like playoff time and stuff. That's one team I definitely don't want to run up against. You know what I'm saying? At all. You know what I mean? So listen, I'm gonna turn our attention, you know, to the 2015 NFL draft and check out a couple prospects that I don't know. These are prospects that, because you know when it comes to draft time, especially you know this particular draft where it wasn't big, ginormous, glaring needs. Like I thought about it last week that I feel like this season was the first season in a long time where you know Carolina definitely can go you know with the best player available situation to the T this time because of the fact that you know we okay. I ain't saying that we immaculate and we great everywhere, but we okay everywhere. You know. Of course, there's issues that need to be addressed. You know what I mean? Like we could always use another weapon in the wide receiver core, right? We could always use some help on the offensive line, right? You know, the secondary, you know what I mean? Like, it's a bunch of young guys back there. Like, granted, them boys are balling out of control. They trying to find their place in the NFL, and I think they're doing an immaculate job. The young dudes, and then, you know, we got a couple, you know, the veterans, you know, Harper and them dudes, they kind of sprinkled in there. It's a perfect mix, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, you can always make it better. You know, you can add a little salt, a little pepper to it, you know, to make it pop a little harder, you know what I mean? As far as running backs go, I like where we are with the running back situation. You know, I wouldn't even be looking at a running back, you know, me personally, but I'm not a GM, so let's just be clear about this. But I wouldn't even be looking at a running back until, you know, at least the third round. At least, you know, maybe I don't know. It would be late. You know, if something good is sitting there late, you know, I might make a reach for it. But early, first, second, third, running back, when you got, you know, Stewart, and you got Whitaker, and you got Tolbert, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. That one that one is weird to me. Everybody talking about girly this and girly that. I don't know, man. I don't see the immediate need for that. But like I said, they don't pay me to make them kind of decisions. You know what I'm saying? So that ain't something that I got to deal with. I'm just saying, for me as a fan, looking at what's going on, it's like I said, if something is available late, I would take it. But early. Me personally, if my approach would be, I know we added, Orr to the offensive line, and we did a little switch up with Bell and sent him packing, and and everybody, every time talk about Byron Bell is like a sore spot. First and foremost, I do believe that Cam needs some more protection. That's one of the reasons why I said earlier in the show that we haven't seen the best of Cam yet. Is because I don't feel like he can actually really, exercise his other talent, which he's a really good passer. You know what I mean? Like, his accuracy been kind of weird lately because the dude been running for his life. You know what I mean? Like, people forget, like in his first season and definitely in his second season. In the second season, when everybody thought was a down season, his passing was way better than it was in his rookie year. You know what I mean? It's just, the dude can pass that rock, and he can have some zip on it, and he can be accurate. It's just that we need a little bit more time. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people want to see that razzle dazzle, that that spin moves and the jukes and jives that Cam does. And that's great. I love it too. But I definitely feel like if he had a little bit more protection, we can see this other part of his game that we haven't really got a chance to really get the chance to see. And that's what I mean. Like, that would be like my number one concern going into tomorrow's draft. Seeing who was available at the offensive, it ain't got to be necessarily, just somebody to help strengthen that offensive line. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go for a specific position because I think we got people in place and enough rotation. It's not super thin. You know what I mean? It's thinner than like Dallas's offensive line, but not super thin. You know what I mean? I don't feel like, if we miss something or somebody's gone or the guy that we thought we wanted to nail was gone by 25, I don't know if it'll be that big of a deal. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. But then the next thing I would look at would probably be, I would probably go to, look at the secondary, unless, of course, one of the top, cornerbacks or safeties are available early at 25, which I doubt, right? Because there's so many teams that kind of, especially the ones that are got the top picks. Q-Bone says, I would love to see the Panthers draft another weapon for Newton. I think someone like Dorial Green-Beckham lining up with Kelvin Benjamin would be scary. And I'm going to talk about that for a second because I've been doing my study on Mr. DGB, right? Been doing my little, is it DBG? Is it Beckham Green or Green Beckham? I can't remember. But yeah, I've been doing a little bit of research on the guy. And I don't know. See, it's one little thing on his little record that may not make him be a perfect fit for Carolina. It's just so much recent stuff and happening on our team that this little blemish could be a problem. I don't know. I'm just saying. But my second pick though, I would probably be looking at the secondary. Like I said, unless a wide receiver or somebody happened to be still around. Now, third round, I would definitely be looking, at the wide receivers because I know the wide receivers in this particular draft are definitely not on the same caliber or level as the ones that we saw last season. So what I did was I found this, and this is one of my favorite websites because these guys shouted me out on Twitter last year, and I definitely appreciate it. So I'm cool with the guys over at Rant Sports. They put together a nice little Carolina Panthers prospect package, and we're gonna take a look at that. So let's look at that and see what they put together for us because I thought it was pretty dope. So the first thing we see, right? You know what? I ain't even gonna pretend like I know how to say this dude's name. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even gonna pretend. Like, look, defensive end. Look, they got this. This is like they count them down from 5 to 1. And defensive end. That's why I said maybe late. At 5, you can still find a guy. From the defensive end, a top-rated prospect like that deep in the draft, that's a steal. I don't know what the people how they gonna call him by his name. I don't even want to mess it up. I don't even want to say it because I don't even want to mess him up. You know what I'm saying? But this is one guy, and let's see what they said about him. They said the Panthers' rush fell off a little last season when Greg Hardy got suspended. Now with him gone, Carolina could use another talented pass rusher. This guy is one of the best athletes in the draft and should be able to make an immediate impact on whichever team takes him. It's not their biggest need, but this guy would be a good pick for Carolina. I don't know how y'all feel about that. Now, if he one of the best defensive ends in the draft, is he still going to be sitting around? Well, I guess I don't know if they're ranking him from 1 to 5 or 5 to 1. I don't know if you take I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. But we definitely need. I don't. When I think about the defensive end position, in that whole little musical chair situation we had going on last year, it was still pretty effective. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, but you definitely want to bring somebody else. I know that's definitely one of the spots that we need to grab somebody. Next one, I got Brashad Perriman, wide receiver, Central Florida. I didn't read a lot about this guy, right? I think he was 6'5", around 220, something like that. But yeah, I don't know. We see what they said about him. They said this wide receiver is the biggest need for Carolina, and there should be a few different players available for them at 25. Brashad Perriman has been rising up draft boards since he ran a 4.2 second 40-yard dash at his pro day. His elite speed and size combination are something any team in the league would want. Now, looking at that, it just goes to show me that he's probably going to go to Tennessee. You know what I mean? If that whole quarterback situation don't go to Tennessee, I'm just saying. I don't know, because Tennessee, they ain't really been right since, they lost wide receivers back in the day. So I don't know. This next one is a cornerback, right? Mr. Marcus Peters, cornerback out of Washington. Little scrappy little dude. But so here's the thing about him. They said Carolina had issues throughout the year with the secondary. They don't have a true number one cornerback and could use their first round pick to change that. Marcus Peters is one of the best corners in the draft because of his size and ball skills. However, he has some question marks about his maturity, which might force a team like Carolina to pass. And that's one of the things I was thinking of. Oh, Q-Bone, you going to tell me how to say his name? His name is pronounced like this. Odigizua. Okay, I don't know. If he come out to him, we're going to be saying it, right? I don't know. But that's cool, though. And then, wide receiver. This is one of the wide receivers, right? But that whole thing, that whole maturity part, I'm telling you, with the recent stuff that happened in Carolina, a guy like him, I don't know, man. It's just like Carolina's real sensitive right now about that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. They looking for people like Cam and like Luke, man of the year. You know what I'm saying? Like people like that. They looking for. I understand. Rookies coming in ain't gonna be like no man of the year. It takes some years to kind of get that and get that whole freshly to the NFL. I'm a baller status type stuff out your system. But it's just. Carolina, I'm telling you, like this, it's a sensitive topic, and I know that even if Gettleman is like, oh, what, we can work with it, we can do this, that, and the third. I know Jared Jones is like, I don't know, man. I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do it. And then, so here we go. Eric Flowers, offensive tackle, Miami. This is one of the ones that I think. This is me personally. This is where I think Carolina's gonna go with 25. This is where I think they're gonna land at 25. But we'll have to wait till tomorrow night to see. That's what they said about him. They said the Panthers have to address their offensive line in the draft. Cam Newton was under constant pressure last year. I think they would gladly take Eric Flowers if he falls to them at 25. He would instantly become the best tackle on the roster. Who else we got? We got Warren. Got some people. Instantly. Rookie. Yeah, maybe remain to be seen. Austin J, 49ers. Okay. You know what I'm saying? All right. That's cool. We with that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, ain't nothing wrong with the 49ers, man. They are what they are, They got no issues with them, And then, of course, we got to talk about, since Q-Bone brought it up, right? Dorian Green-Beckham, DGB, wide receiver out of Oklahoma. And this is the thing about him. I think this would be one of the things that would probably definitely instantly make us a viable, team to live up to all this hype that I'm pushing out about us, right? But here's the thing. I gotta tell you, Carolina's real sensitive about certain situations, and this is where it is. I said there are plenty of opinions on Dorian Green-Beckham, considering he didn't play a single down of football last year. One thing that most people can agree on is that he is as physically gifted as any receiver in the draft. Cam Newton loves throwing it up to big targets, and Green-Beckham would be a great fit for their offense. Now, one of the other things is dude got a little domestic violence situation going on, right? Or he had one, is on his record and whatnot. And that is I don't know. That's a tough one, and so honestly, I'm thinking like I would love him here. You know what I'm saying? It's just that him being involved in domestic violence in any shape or form, and Jerry Jones knows about it. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, knowing what I know about this guy, Jerry Jones, and what he went through last season, lost all that money behind Greg Hardy. They had the man crying in public on the podium and stuff. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to set himself up like that. Now, I don't know. Sometimes, though, they always talk about calculated risk. You know what I mean? This would be what I would call a calculated risk. Now, from the little interviews and stuff that I saw and some of the write-ups and things that I saw on this kid, he seemed like, that mess is behind him. He seemed like a good kid. I think we got the right kind of leadership on our team to kind of steer him in the right direction. That would be a gamble. You know what I mean? That would be a gamble. Because you know what? Here's the thing. With the way that the team is set up right now and the path that they're on, especially coming out of what we're coming out of with the whole Greg Hardy situation and, and all of that mess, all that bad stuff that happened last season, finally getting clear of all of that, man, just to willingly invite, I don't know. It's one of them things that I personally don't feel comfortable about because I feel like we can get this done, with or without Adorial Green Beckham. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like we can still get it done, but at the same time, would it be crazy to pass on him because of something that happened a while back? You know what I mean? It would be interesting to see how this is going to play out. Because he is definitely one of the ones that Carolina is definitely scouting hard. But I don't know, man. To get that past the owner, that's going to be the toughest job for Dave Gettleman to sell Dorial Green Beckham to Jerry Jones, to Jerry Richardson, right? He got to sell that one. He's going to have to sell that with Jerry Richardson, guys. He's going to have to figure that one out some kind of way. Like, listen, I done did the background checks. I talked to his mama. I talked to everybody. I went around the block. I did this, that, and the third. I talked to the people at the school and his elementary school and everybody. I did everything. I did all the due diligence. I don't know. He's going to have to sell that one, though. You know what I'm saying? That was going to be a tough one right there. You know what I mean? But that is pretty much the 5 ones that I was looking at. And, like I said, the dudes over at Rand Sports, they had that nice little write-up on them. And those are my boys, man. They I hooked up with them last year, man, through TeamBoydTV Live, which was fun, and that kind of thing. Which, TeamBoydTV Live will be back early in July and that kind of thing. So that is cool. We're going to take our... we got to take a visit to our sponsor because, Domain.com gave us a second tour duty with them, which I'm definitely appreciative of. They believe in us enough to let us come around one more time. And that's cool. So we're going to pay them a little visit and then we'll come back. We'll put a nice little bow on this episode. And then we'll get up out of here. So here we go. TeamBoydTV Turbo is sponsored by Domain.com. In today's connected world, it's kind of hard to be heard or to get noticed. That's why an online presence is so vital. If you have a brand to promote, relying on social media just doesn't cut it these days. Although social media is a powerful way to build a following, there is nothing like having your own hosted website. That's where Domain.com comes in. Domain.com offers the very best in web hosting services, and with plans starting at just under $4 a month, it's super affordable as well. And now, because you guys are awesome TeamBoydTV Turbo subscribers, you can get yourself a sweet combo deal if you go to TeamBoydTV.com and click the Domain.com button. Once you click the button, you get redirected to the Domain.com promo page, where once you sign up and use the promo code DOMFREE, that's DOMFREE, you can get yourself a free domain name. That's a free website that you can use to build your audience. And Domain.com web hosting is packed with bonus features too. Check this out. All web hosting plans come with $100 Google AdWords bonus, $50 Yahoo/Bing search marketing credit, $50 in Facebook advertising, a free YellowPages.com listing, and get this, a free toll-free phone number if you live in the U.S. And if you're like me and you know nothing about website design, Domain.com even has the awesomely easy drag-and-drop site builder to get you up and running right away. So what are you waiting for? There's no excuse not to get your online presence rolling right now. Remember, go to TeamBoydTV.com, click the Domain.com button, and use the promo code DOMFREE to get your free domain to use for your website today. My bad, the voice 2525. I went through this whole entire spiel. You know what I'm saying? You didn't even hear what I was saying. Oh my God. Here we go. I said, welcome back to the Black and Blue Podcast. I'll be your big homie, Bigg Q, represent TeamBoydTV. Hey, voice, thanks for looking out for me like that, cuz I'm saying that's good look. But what I was saying was, man, look, I'm looking forward to going out to training camp this year. I haven't been out there in a long time. I got a bunch of new gear that I want to use, man. I got a little selfie stick situation that I want to play around with my GoPro. I got a little Tascam audio recorder, a little lapel stuff. I want to go out to training camp. I want to see if I can, hook up with some of my boys, man, out there and see if I can get a couple interviews with them and that kind of thing, and report like that. I also want to give a big, huge, gigantic shout out to Panther Nation and the dudes who supported me all last season, and the boys who kind of keep me coming back every year to do the Black and Blue Podcast. And Voice 2525, look, you was in the building. I had already shouted you one time. I'm gonna shout you again. The Voice 2525. My boys over at C3 Carolina Cat Chronicles, Joey Riolano, Anthony Dunn, they're my homeboys. They're gonna be hosting a draft party tomorrow night. I was with them last season. We hung out. It was great. We had a lot of fun. We had a little argument about Kelvin Benjamin. It was ridiculous. I had to prove them boys wrong. But they're going to be doing that tomorrow night, man. You hook up with them on Google Plus. It's like Carolina Cat Chronicles, and then they got their personals, Joey Riolano and Anthony Dunn. Go into the hangout with them, man. Like I said, I had a lot of fun with them last year. It was awesome. I want to give a big shout out to my boy, Mr. Straight Facts himself, Mr. T Money 1993. That's my homie right there. Y'all, you keep on doing your thing, bruh. Jason Opel. I think I got your name right. I don't know. Jason Opel. Let me know how I'm saying it, man. Let me know what's good with that. We'll give a shout out. Main attraction, my town. That's my homie. You still doing your thing. I appreciate all you guys' support, man. And I also want to give a real big shout out one more time to my hardest pounders, man. The people last week who went to the Patreon and supported your boy and supported the Black and Blue Podcast and supported TeamBoydTV and support what I do here on YouTube, man. The Mega Goddess, look, your contribution was ridiculous. I don't even know how I can possibly repay that, but I appreciate it. Like I appreciate it, like with the utmost. Proud Squad. My boy who keep pounding. All the people who donated last week, man. I definitely appreciate it. If you guys want to know how to do that, man, it's easy. You can click on the little eye that's in your on the right hand corner of your screen. Click it. The Patreon stuff pops out. The YouTube fan funding stuff pops out. You can donate a little, donate a lot. And, just to further my cause, I am going to see, I'm going to hook it up on the Patreon. I'm going to set the little goal up because I'm going to the Super Bowl, and I'm going to represent the Carolina Panthers at the Super Bowl because y'all thought I was lying. I'm going to be there representing Carolina because Carolina going to be there too. I'm going to be in Carolina. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about Landon Collins in the first? And the first, that first one, look, man, we talked about, I think I don't know. That was tough. That was tough, man. Like I said, we talked about it earlier in the show. Carolina can go a million different ways here. They can. It's just, I think we're in position finally because we've been drafting really well over the last couple of seasons that we can really, really go with the absolute best player available. And I think that's exactly what our general manager is going to do. So it's going to be super hard to predict this. We're going to have to see who's on the board, who's off the board. We're going to have to figure that out because, honestly, there is like teams that need stuff. You know what I mean? The Bucks, they want that Jameis Winston action, right? We know this already. You know what I'm saying? We know certain teams, they need things. It's glaring. It's like, it's obvious. Carolina, though, man, I don't know. Like I said, it's just going to be interesting to see. 25 is always a tough one, man, because that's like deep down in the draft, which, is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because, we had a pretty good season the year before, and it's a bad thing because, man, you started kind of, you got to be strategic about that kind of thing. Again, look, I want to thank all you guys for joining me, man, like y'all always do. Y'all support is just unmeasured. It's ridiculous. As long as y'all guys support me, I will keep on doing this, man, and I want y'all guys to know that I'm here, man. I'm a Panther till I die. You know what I'm saying? So, for everybody who, going to be out there for training camp, I'll be out there. For everybody who's going to be in preseason games, I'm going to be out there. You know what I'm saying? So listen, I will see y'all then. And I guess we'll holler next week and we'll talk about how well we did in the draft or how bad we did in the draft, or if something crazy, if Dave Gettleman, start talking to Chip Kelly and they did. I don't know. We'll talk about it next week though. You know what I'm saying? But until then, man, listen, I will get with y'all guys tomorrow night. Twitter will be live. I will be up on that joint. I'll be right there with y'all. So listen, we'll see what kind of shape our team going to take, and we'll be ready to take the next step to our journey to Super Bowl 50, because I know a lot of people hating, but that's where we're going to be, and I'm going to be there too. Y'all take it easy. I'm out. Peace.
The Black and Blue Podcast.